What if I told you that T.I.'s son, King Harris, just begged a judge for mercy after a jail gang war that spiraled so far out of control, it makes the Oz prison scenes look like Sunday school? The internet's losing its collective mind. And this isn't just another celebrity kid gone rogue. This is a full-blown hip-hop horror movie playing out in real life. From flashing stacks to fighting for survival. King went from luxury to lockdown faster than you can say expeditiously. Word on the inside is that he messed with the wrong gang. And let's just say they don't forgive, they don't forget. And they definitely don't do autographs now. Imagine the courtroom King shaking, voice cracking, begging the judge, please, I can't stay in there. Meanwhile, T.I.'s sitting like a man who just realized his parenting lectures didn't come with a refund policy. The leaks. The reactions. The memes. Absolute carnage. This isn't just gossip, it's gospel chaos. Grab your popcorn. Because what's about to unfold makes the Kardashians look like choir practice and 6x9ins. Snitching scandal look like a bedtime story. Welcome to Expose Express, where every secret bleeds louder than the truth. King Harris used to flex gold teeth and Gucci belts like they were emotional support accessories. The kid was born in a mansion, raised on fame, and still somehow found himself behind bars, like a low-budget episode of Beyond Scared Straight. But this wasn't a learn your lesson stunt. This was real jail, real gangs, and real consequences for acting like the prince of trap music with a royal temper. It all started with King trying to prove he wasn't just T.I. and Tiny's rich kid. He wanted street credibility so badly that he practically ordered it off the menu. And the streets delivered with interest. He'd post online like, I'm not one of them silver spoon dudes, while sitting on a spoon made of literal silver. The internet laughed, but King wasn't joking. He dove headfirst into street antics, fights, flexes, fake ops until he finally got booked. But this time, things didn't just go viral. They went violent. Inside that cell block, King met a crew who didn't care that he once went viral for arguing over Waffle House eggs. These weren't fans. These were felons who saw T.I.'s son as a golden ticket, a target with fame, family money, and a last name that meant headlines. Word spread fast. Some wanted clout, some wanted cash. And one crew, the kind you don't tag on Instagram, wanted revenge for something deeper. Rumor has it, one of King's old music videos accidentally mocked a symbol from that gang. Inside, that's like spitting in a lion's face and then wondering why the lion looks hungry. Within days, tension skyrocketed. First came the stares, then the shoulder bumps, then the whispered warnings from inmates who'd seen this story before. One source, a guy known only as Slim from C Block, allegedly leaked that King got jumped in the showers after mouthing off to the wrong person. The fight was brutal. Not movie fight brutal, real brutal. By the time guards broke it up, King's confidence was gone. His gold teeth were cracked. And his ego had clocked out early. Meanwhile, social media had no mercy. Memes popped up faster than apologies at the BET Awards. King Harris thought he was tough until the tough clocked in. I said, get educated, not incarcerated. Twitter became a comedy club, and everyone got a front row seat. But what the world didn't know was that King was quietly begging for protection inside. Gone was the cocky smile. Gone was the loud talk. This wasn't about flexing anymore. This was about surviving. T.I. allegedly got the call that no father ever wants. Your son's in protective custody after a gang incident. You could almost hear that sigh across Atlanta. The sound of disappointment mixed with fear. Sources close to T.I. say he wanted to pull strings. But even fame has limits when your kid's wrapped up in prison politics. Then came the leaks. Grainy audio clips of King's voice, supposedly crying during a phone call, saying, I can't do this, Pops. They don't like me here. Whether real or edited, it spread like wildfire. The clip hit TikTok, then Instagram, then gossip channels faster than the judge's gavel. The internet exploded with hashtags like hashtag free King Harris, hashtag pray for King, and my personal favorite, hashtag expeditiously inmate. The narrative shifted overnight. What was once comedy became chaos. Suddenly, everyone wanted to know who was the gang, what really happened in that cell block, and why was King's court date moved up so suddenly? That's when things got officially wild. Reports claim King's lawyers filed an emergency request for early release, citing credible safety threats. Its translation, he messed with the wrong people and now he's scared for his life. And then came the courtroom moment that changed everything. Cameras weren't allowed inside, but leaks don't wait for permission. Witnesses described it like a movie scene. King standing there, visibly shaken, face down, voice trembling as he told the judge, "I just want to go home. I'll do anything. Please, Your Honor." This wasn't the same kid who bragged about being built for this. This was a 20-year-old realizing that the streets don't hand out participation trophies. The judge, stone-faced, listened as King's lawyer painted the picture. "Your Honor, this young man has been targeted because of his name. He fears for his safety every minute he's inside." The courtroom air was so tense you could slice it with a gold chain. Meanwhile, the press outside turned the courthouse into a circus. Cameras everywhere. Reporters shouting, "Is King getting released? Did he really snitch on a gang? How does T.I. feel about this?" And T.I.? He walked past the flashes in silence, face cold, eyes heavy like a man who just realized even fame can't buy your child's common sense. That image. T.I. leaving court without a word became the symbol of the whole scandal. Memes flooded the web. T.I. said, "You can have whatever you like, but apparently not parole." Savage, yes. But that's the internet. No one gets out unroasted. Back inside the system, the rumors kept snowballing. Some said King's plea was genuine. Others claimed it was staged a publicity stunt to score sympathy and shave off time. But insiders said otherwise. This wasn't PR, this was panic. The young prince of Atlanta was trapped in a concrete jungle where his father's lyrics didn't apply. Every night, King reportedly wrote letters to the judge pleading for early release. "I've learned my lesson," he allegedly wrote. "I just want to live." Fans debated whether to pity or clown him. One tweet summed it up best. "You can't rap about the trenches when the trenches start rapping back." Still, behind all the laughter and memes, something darker brewed. Word spread that the gang King offended wasn't done yet. They had connections, reach, and unfinished business. That's when whispers began about a deal, a desperate behind-the-scenes negotiation for safety. Some claimed T.I. met with officials. Others swore an Atlanta record exec offered money to transfer King. None confirmed, all explosive by the end of the week. The headlines screamed, "King Harris begs the judge for mercy. Jail gang feud turns deadly." The world was watching. The judge was listening. And King Harris? He was finally silent, not because he wanted to be, but because the cell walls were now louder than his fame. When the footage of King Harris trembling in court leaked online, the internet didn't just react, it erupted. Twitter, TikTok, and every gossip blog from Atlanta to LA treated it like the Super Bowl of humiliation. One clip hit 10 million views in under an hour, with captions like, "When you realize the gang life comes with a 30-day return policy." And the internet compassion lasts 5 minutes. The memes last forever. The comments were savage. Bro wanted street cred. Now he's begging for witness protection. From flex and Ferraris to fear and felons, the glowdown is real. Even major pages like The Shade Room and Academics jumped in. Academics went live for 2 hours straight, calling it the wildest fall from grace I've seen since Tekashi started dressing like a Skittles pack. But the real plot twist? Celebrities started choosing sides. Some rappers, mostly the older bin, aired on that ones, showed rare sympathy. Boosie jumped on Instagram Live and said, "Man, y'all laughing at that boy? But y'all don't know what that cell feel like when the lights go out." The comments exploded, half agreeing, half roasting. Meanwhile, Charleston White called King a rich kid who finally learned what real life smelled like. Somehow managed to make a 10-minute rant trend harder than Drake's latest single. Then, enter 50 Cent. Because of course he did. 50 posted a meme of T.I. looking stressed. Captioned, "When your son said he wanted to be like you," but skipped all the good parts. The internet went into cardiac arrest. Within hours. The hashtags were everywhere. Hashtag pray for King. Hashtag rich kid reckoning. Hashtag from Gucci to guilty. And the now infamous hashtag free Tiny Jr. Even non-hip-hop celebs couldn't resist chiming in. Cardi B commented, "This is why I stay out of jail, baby. I haven't got time to be begging no judge." While Nicki Minaj, ever the queen of subtle shade, simply tweeted, "Every era gets its lesson. Some pay in clout, others in commissary." The Barbs and Barty gang immediately turned that into a digital war zone as usual. Meanwhile, King Harris's old clips resurfaced. You know, the ones where he's shouting, "I'm not one of them kids you can play with." TikTok users started stitching it with courtroom memes. One viral edit had him saying that, followed by a judge banging the gavel and text reading, "The wrong gang heard you, bro. The wrong gang heard you, bro." But while the world laughed, insiders whispered that things behind bars had escalated even further. According to sources, King wasn't just dealing with taunts. Anymore, he'd allegedly been moved to a high-security wing after a second altercation. Some claimed he got attacked in the cafeteria after refusing to pay rent. To the gang controlling his tier. Imagine being the son of a rap legend and still owing protection. Tax. That's irony so thick it deserves a Grammy. And as if that wasn't wild enough, leaked photos surfaced online, blurry, grainy, clearly taken through a smuggled phone, showing someone looking like King, sitting alone, hoodie up, head down. The captions, ruthless. From mansion to meal tray. I better drop a remix called Whatever You Like. Inmate edition, T.I. usually vocal about everything, went radio silent. Not a post, not a clapback, not even a cryptic quote. That silence said more than a press conference ever could. You could tell he was torn. Father versus public figure. Pride versus pain. Tiny reportedly broke down in tears during a family prayer circle, begging God to bring her son home safe. But social media doesn't care about tears. It cares about content. So the bloggers kept milking the story. One outlet claimed T.I. was in talks with federal consultants to move King to another facility. Another said a rival rapper's cousin was in the same prison, and that's where the beef really began. Truth, lies. Doesn't matter. In the viral economy, drama is currency, and business was booming. Meanwhile, YouTubers turned the saga into a cottage industry. Reaction channels titled videos T.I.'s son in danger, full gang war explained. And King Harris cried in court leaked audio. Even conspiracy pages joined in, saying the whole thing was orchestrated for a reality TV deal. One theory claimed King faked his fear to secure a Netflix docuseries titled Born in the Mansion, Trapped in the Cell. The crazy part? People believed it. Comments read like courtroom transcripts of delusion. Y'all don't get it? This all promo for his new mixtape. They faked 6ix9ine's kidnapping. Why not this? Meanwhile, someone on Reddit claimed their cousin worked in the same facility and said, King spends most days writing music and apologizing to guards. Whether real or not. The image of King scribbling rhymes while waiting for court updates became iconic. Fans turned it into AI art. Merch, even NFT memes. The public started picking apart every new photo, every new statement, every possible clue. And when T.I.'s old interviews resurfaced, especially the ones where he bragged about teaching, King Tough Love, the internet devoured him. Guess Tough Love turned into Tough Luck. One comment said, should have sent him to college, not Compton. But then came the biggest twist yet. Rumors of retaliation. One anonymous post claimed the gang. King clashed with had connections on the outside and that a message was sent toward the Harris family. Suddenly, security details appeared around T.I.'s Atlanta mansion. TMZ sources reported heightened concern for the safety of celebrity families involved. The fear hit real. What started as a joke became a nightmare. And for the first time, the internet got quiet, not out of respect, but out of suspense. Everyone wanted to know, what's the judge going to do now? That's when an emergency hearing got announced. Overnight, the courthouse became the new Staples Center. Crowds, cameras, chaos. Protesters outside held signs reading "Free King Harris" and "Fame Ain't Armor." Inside, it was tense enough to stop clocks. King entered wearing a plain jumpsuit, eyes red, head low. The judge asked if he had anything to say. He hesitated, then whispered something that made headlines for a week. "I'm sorry for thinking I was untouchable." Boom. That's the moment the world went silent. Just before the internet exploded again. Every outlet replayed it. TikToks remixed it. Drake even dropped a cryptic IG story saying, "Untouchable till it touches you." Fans flooded the comments. He talking about King. And as reporters scrambled for updates, one rumor started spreading like wildfire. The judge might actually consider the plea. Half the world screamed privilege. The other half screamed protection. Everyone agreed on one thing. This was the wildest celebrity kid downfall since Jaden Smith asked for emancipation and philosophical freedom by the week's end. King Harris wasn't just a headline. He was a symbol of fame gone wrong, of ego gone rogue. Us. Of what happens when the internet's favorite punchline realizes the punch hits back. The court decision was set for Monday. Fans waited. Blogs refreshed hourly. Even the haters were hooked. Because whether you loved him or loathed him, one thing was clear. This story was far from over. Monday came like Judgment Day wrapped in camera flashes. Outside the courthouse, the crowd looked like a music festival lineup: fans, haters, bloggers, prayer groups, even one guy selling free King Harris t-shirts for $20 a pop. The whole city of Atlanta felt like it was holding its breath, waiting to see if the judge would free the self-proclaimed King of the South Jr. or keep him behind bars with the wolves inside. Silence reigned. King sat there, no chains, just orange cuffs and a face that screamed exhaustion. Gone was the braggadocio. The man who once shouted, "I'm built for this," now looked like he'd been rebuilt entirely out of regret and fear. The judge shuffled papers with the kind of calm that makes rappers write songs about injustice. You could practically hear every journalist's keyboard warming up for the verdict. Then, the gavel hit one sharp, final, merciless. "Mr. Harris," the judge said, "you've requested early release for your safety. I've considered the circumstances, but actions have consequences. Sentence modification denied." Boom. Silence. Then chaos. Tiny gasped. T.I. clenched. His fists so tight you'd think he was about to drop a diss track on the entire judicial system. King's lips trembled, eyes watering, and for a moment, he looked less like a rapper's son and more like a scared kid who finally realized the internet can't protect you from prison politics. The crowd outside heard the whispers before the official announcement hit. Within minutes, hashtags changed from #FreeKing to #StayStrongKing. The internet flipped again, half pity, half popcorn. TikToks emerged with slow-motion edits of King being escorted out, overlaid with sad music and captions like "when clout turns into court dates." But the story didn't stop there. Oh no, the aftermath became a full-blown cultural event. T.I. went live that night, breaking his silence with the kind of sermon that felt half fatherly, half fire and brimstone. "Ain't no love in the streets," he said, pacing his mansion like a preacher in Balenciagas. "You want respect? Earn it the right way. Don't go testing lions just 'cause you from a zoo." The clip went viral within hours, spawning the quote heard round the world, "testin' lions when you came from luxury." Meanwhile, King's former friends started talking. A few went on podcasts saying he wanted to be a street legend but didn't. Realized the streets got rules that don't care about money. Others claimed he was already writing a Talal mixtape from Inside Title, allegedly, from Throne to Cell Block. Of course, everyone assumed it was a PR move. Because in hip-hop, even trauma gets marketed. Then the brands got involved. Memes turned into merch. Somebody dropped a clothing line called "Built But Not For This." Another page started selling orange jumpsuits with expeditiously printed on the back. The world had officially commercialized King's collapse. And the irony could have powered a city. But behind the virality, something darker was brewing. Sources whispered that King was moved again, this time for his safety. Word was the gang feud hadn't cooled. If anything, it was spreading. One insider claimed he was target number one because his story brought too much heat. Translation: the fame he once flaunted now painted a target on his BACKTI, allegedly. Began pulling every connection he had, from legal teams to correctional consultants, to protect his son. One source even said a secret negotiation was underway to move King out of state. Nothing confirmed, everything chaotic. That's how scandals survive. Mystery equals engagement. And the fans, divided like a rap beef. Half called it karma. Play stupid games, win lifetime sentences. The other half saw redemption. He's learned his lesson. Give that man another chance. Even Drake couldn't resist subtweeting, "Every prince gotta face the palace flames once." You already know the blogs made it about King. Weeks passed. New scandals replaced him on the trending page. Some influencer breakup, a rapper feud. The usual circus, but then, like clockwork, a leaked letter hit social media. Supposedly written by King himself, the handwriting shaky, the words raw. "I used to think being feared was power. Now I see peace is power. I don't want fame no more. I want freedom." Fans debated whether it was real or AI. Didn't matter. It went viral anyway. Millions shared it with captions like, "Growth looks good on him and TI should frame this." Even his harshest critics admitted, for once, King sounded human. Then came the rumors of a Netflix documentary deal. A producer close to the family allegedly pitched from gold chains to chain-link fences. Whether it's true or not, you could feel the gears of Hollywood turning, because nothing says lesson learned like a limited docuseries with a moody soundtrack. Meanwhile, inside, King reportedly started mentoring younger inmates, telling them not to follow his path. It was poetic justice. The same kid who once bragged about being untouchable, now warning others not to touch fire. One guard even leaked that King spends his nights reading T.I.'s old lyrics, particularly "Live Your Life." And that's where the story shifts from chaos to clarity. Because every empire, even the flashy ones built on fame and filters, hits a moment of reckoning. For King Harris, that moment wasn't a gunfight or a diss track. It was a courtroom plea that fell on stone ears, and a realization that you can't negotiate with reality. Still, in the age of clicks and controversy, redemption is only one viral moment away. Bloggers are already teasing new interviews. T.I.'s PR team dropped hints that the family's ready to share their truth, and the internet, it's waiting, popcorn in hand, pretending to care about lessons while secretly hoping for another downfall. Because that's the twisted truth of fame. One day, you're trending for your talent. The next, you're trending for your trial. So where does King Harris go from here? Will the judge ever reconsider? Will he rebuild his image, drop a redemption track, or fade into the background like yesterday's headline? Whatever happens next, one thing's certain: the boy who begged the judge just became the man who faced the music, and that music's still playing loud. Messy, unfiltered, and dangerously addictive. So there you have it, the fairy tale that traded a crown for a court date. King Harris thought he was writing his own street legend, but instead, he ended up starring in a cautionary tale directed by Karma and edited by the internet. The streets don't care who your daddy is. Fame doesn't buy you freedom, just makes your mugshot go viral faster. Now the million-dollar question: will King Harris make a comeback? Or will he just trend every few months like a bad sequel nobody asked for? Will T.I. turn this into a redemption anthem? Or will this chapter stay sealed behind court documents and caution tape? Whatever happens, you already know. We'll be here breaking it down before the ink even dries. Because here on Expose Express, we don't just sip the tea, we pour it straight from the pot while it's still boiling. We dig where the blogs won't. We laugh where PR cries. And we expose the drama that makes the Kardashians look like kindergarten conflicts. So if you made it this far, hit that like button like it owes you money. Drop a comment with your wildest theory about what happens next. And subscribe, because this saga isn't over. And neither is the chaos. Tomorrow's headline might read King Harris secret jail tapes leaked or T.I. sues the system expeditiously. Either way, we'll be the first to tell you with sarcasm, scandal, and just the right sprinkle of disrespect. This is your host signing off from Expose Express, where the truth isn't always clean, but it's always entertaining.